Yes, good morning, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm here again talking about parenting. And I would request guys not to take this for granted. It is what is happening in our society and our kids. Let me tell you, parents are unable to understand our kids. What they're supposed to do to help their kids. I'm a teacher. I'm a counselor. Yeah, I coach sometimes, life coaches, yes, life coaching. And parents sometimes don't know what to do. Yeah, they wonder. I've been a meeting in which we are doing a discipline issue, and a parent crying and a kid is crying. They don't know what is happening. What is might be happening, and I tell you, the problem starts from parenting. Also, guys, those who are in offices, those who work somewhere, sometimes your colleagues, sometimes your friends, you don't understand how they behave. The issue is parenting. You are married, you're newly married, and then you wonder, how does your wife behave? How does your husband behave? Inquire about parenting. How was that guy brought up? You need to inquire. And then when you inquire, you'll be able to understand that the problem is not him. The problem is in the way he was brought up. So, guys, poor parenting has negative effects, and there are many negative effects of poor parenting. That's why I was telling you guys to always listen to my early video about good parenting, what you're supposed to do in good parenting, like ensure that you love your kids very well, you respect each other, always be there for them, spend some quality time with them. That is very, very important. So poor parenting has effects. So these effects, I want you to go and look at your friends, look at your wife, look at your husband, look at your kids, and they will know these are effect of poor parenting. Number one is when a kid has low esteem. Low esteem. Actually, that is the worst thing that can happen to a person, to having a low esteem, feeling less worthy. Yeah. Even in a class, when you're teaching, we can see students with lower esteem. They cannot talk in front of others. They really contribute. They feel inferior. They don't even playing. They don't play with other kids. That is the effect of low esteem. So if you have a kid in your house and he doesn't play with you, he or she is affected with the low esteem. Doesn't play with you, doesn't make jokes with you. A young kid who is very quiet when you are with him or her, that is low esteem. Yeah, in your house, your kid is very quiet. He doesn't talk. He's affected by low esteem, and that one is an effect of poor parenting. Maybe you instilled a lot of fear when the kid was very young. Maybe you are beating your wife or your husband in front of the kid. The kid has a lot of fear, or you beat the kid. Poor parenting, including torturing kids, very young kids. You beat them because of a very simple thing. The other time we are seeing a video going viral in the country about a mother who was unable to teach the grade 1 kid about adding 1 to 1, and then the kid was unable to comprehend. Then the mother was beating that kid. If you beat that kid that way, you are going to affect the esteem of that kid completely. You will affect the esteem of that kid completely. Parents, I'm requesting that understand that this kid is young. He or she is young. That's one thing. So that you can ensure that kid is not affected by esteem. Know some things that affect his esteem or her esteem. Yeah. So that you can be able to ensure that the kid is confident. He can talk in front of kids. He can talk in front of you. He can express himself or herself. That way, you will help that kid. But the kid of low esteem is effect of poor parenting. The second thing that is there in poor parenting, you will have what we call poor academic performance. That kid will be affected in performance academically because of poor parenting. You need to be available. You need to make a follow-up as the kid he or she is growing up. You need to make her follow up how she's performing from grade 1, from preschool. You make her follow up. But if you're not available, you don't know if the kid has done homework or he or she is going to school. That's poor parenting. You're not available. You are not available to help that kid to do some assignments. That kid is going to be affected in performance. You don't buy the required things. You have not taken your kid to a good school with quality grades. You have not taken him or her. The boy or the girl will not perform well. And any measures to help him or her later in life could not help. It won't help. It will be late. So it's very important for you, my parent here. Take care of your kids. Ensure you know the progress of your kid from Form 1 and not from grade 1, from preschool. You make a follow up. Yeah, what he or she requires, which books he requires. Yeah, then give the kid the quality time that is needed so that he can perform. Instead of not showing interest. When you don't show interest, that kid, let me tell you, will not perform well. So poor performance that we see in high schools is due to poor parenting. Sometimes don't cane your Form 4 child. Don't be against your Form 1 or Form 2 because of poor grades. Ebu angalia maisha yako. Look at yourself. How did you do parenting? How did you do your parenting? Another thing that poor parenting brings in is behavioral issues. The behavior of the kid is affected because of poor parenting. Yeah, you get a kid who is very emotional. You get a kid who is very anxious, who is very aggressive, who is very rude. That is due to poor parenting. How did you bring up that kid to be a humble kid? Or some issues like the beating or the quarrels that he or she sees with you and your wife will affect that kid. He will become very anxious. Yeah. So how you bring that kid? If you bring in a house that is full of violence, a violent home will bring what we call a very anxious, a very aggressive, a very rude kid. So behavior is always nurtured by the parents. If the parents are living in harmony, if the parents are always cooperative, always together for their kid, that kid behaviors are well. He or she, their behaviors are not affected in any way. Another effect of poor parenting is attachment issues. The later attachment issues, in that later of this kid, the behavior of that kid will be determined by the poor parenting. Look here. A lack of nurturing and consistency can lead to attachment problems, making it difficult for children to from healthy relations in the future. You get that these kids will not have healthy relationships. The relationships will not be good in the future. That is the truth. Why? Because of poor parenting. Is attachment. How you are brought up, that's why you have. That's how that's how you behave in future relationships. That's why you get some people cannot make good wives, can make good husbands. Why? It's because of attachment issues. It's not another reason. It's because how you are brought up. That's why I said sometimes go and look at how you are brought up, how your wife was brought up. Sometimes you get it's very different, and the way you are thinking is different the way they are thinking, because the way you are brought up is different. So families were brought up knowing that Christianity or religion is very important. Other family is not a must. So when you come together, you get issues. You don't understand each other. How come people don't go to church? Sometimes we don't get issues. It is because of it's because of parenting. So parenting affects the future of the person, because even the behavior, he cannot have healthy relationships whatsoever. If this poor parenting, there will be no good. Yes, children who are from poor parenting, they always feel insecure. They are very, very insecure. They don't get that security they don't have that security from the parents because of poor parenting. Because the parents is not available, the parents doesn't care, etc. So he will feel insecure. Even the future, he or her future is always insecure. He does get that security that is needed from the parents. The parents are not available. They doesn't spend some quality time with them. So always is very insecure. This will bring about trust issues. This guy will not be trusting anybody in the future. He always feels that something is missing. Something is missing. So go and check out the parenting. If you are doing the poor parenting, make sure you change so that the kid, your kid, I'm talking about those parents who are, let's say, before, less than 30 years, the 30 years, the young families here. Take care of your parenting. It will affect your kid in the future a great deal. It will affect your kid in a great deal. Another thing, it will affect the emotions of the child. Emotional behavior. It will be very emotional. A kid who has poor parenting he or she cannot control his emotions because the parent has not brought up that way. Poor parenting, will bring about a very emotional child. He or she can't regulate his emotions. When he's angry, he's very angry. Why? Because parents were unable to regulate the emotions when he or she was young. It's very important for a parent to ensure that that kid is well taken care of. And some guys don't dismiss these such issues. These are very important issues. I've seen. Me, I talk to people all the time, advise people. I've seen what is happening. Poor parenting is there everywhere, and parents are crying. The last one is the kid will bring up about poor decision making. The child will not unable to make poor decision making. Actually, what the biggest mistake that is happening in the country is people are unable to make decisions. Even making a decision to get married is unable because of how you brought up that kid. He or she is immature enough to make decisions. I don't even understand this. Making decisions are very important. So, a kid that is brought up by a family which is very firm, with a lot of counseling, it will ensure that the kid is able to make a decision for her life. Very strong decision for her life. So ensure that you always talk to a kid when he or she is young so that you can be able to make decisions. Make serious decisions like decision to get married or marry. Those are decisions that are very, very wanting. Another thing that poor parenting brings about is it brings about the abuse of drugs and substance as a thing that I'm always advocating here. That poor parenting bring up students who are using a lot of drugs. It includes you not being a role model. You're not a role model. What will happen? You bring alcohol in the house, and I always talk about this. Please don't bring alcohol to your house. Don't drink when your kid is seeing. Let your kid not know that you are taking alcohol. Because your future is secure. Why are you affecting the future of your kid who is very innocent? She will copy how you will copy from that one. And what will happen? That guy will not move out. I'm telling you. The guy will not move out from those drugs. Because it's very easy to enter into drugs, but it's not easy to move out. People are getting it hard to move out of drugs. I don't know if you parent are getting it. It's not easy. So make sure that you try your best. You try your best not to be a role model on drugs. Bang, cigar, leave it out. So that your kid is very, very independent. So poor parenting will bring about use of drugs. Another thing that poor parent brings about is abuses. Domestic abuses, and sometimes people become very aggressive and they may cause death. You get a person who was brought up in a very bad way. Then once married, he only knows that violence is the way to solve issues. So there's no better way of solving issues. So that kid will be affected, and then he will be causing a lot of violence, domestic violence, etc. I'm communicating to you guys. parenting is very, very important. Ensure that you do good parenting to your child. Thank you so much. God bless.